hi, hello, and welcome back to the Drip Project with Tara Priolo from Lift Every Voice Substack. You can join me at lifteveryvoice.substack.com or by visiting tarapriolo.com/links, and I am so happy that you are here. I'm Tara Priolo, your host. I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I'm going to be bringing you a little bit today. I'm probably going to have so many follow-ups. I have so many saved TikTok videos. I have so many thoughts running through my brain. I discussed some of them on Deconstruction Junction on January 3rd, earlier today with Andre and the Flow. You can find that at lovedandlovable.bio.link if you are interested. But I'm going to talk about waking up biracial. I think that's what this episode's going to be called. Waking up biracial. I'll do all the pleasantries here. Okay. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Happy Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy all of the holidays in December and January. And I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that if you are a person that makes a New Year's resolution, that you have done so and that you are still going strong 3 days into this new year. I have a great feeling about 2025. I have so much coming for you, but you can check on that on the other sections of this podcast or of this Substack, and I hope that you will join me there. You should have gotten an email, in fact, yesterday on the But Also newsletter. All right, I think that's all the formalities. Let's talk about it. So, context. For those of you that aren't TikTok people or chronically online people, I am both. I didn't used to be a TikTok person. Now I'm a TikTok person. I do love TikTok. I love the takes. I love the conversation with activists. I love that we can have discourse. What I don't love is the vitriol. But I think that exists everywhere on the internet, and it is not just TikTok. So on TikTok, this creator named Han, who happens to be biracial, which I didn't know previous to this point, made a critique of the Beyonce Christmas Bowl performance, the Beyonce Bowl, saying that Beyonce was a propagandist and essentially, just making critiques of that specific performance, but was also very careful to, splice in how much she knows about the album and like how she's a Beyonce fan. Certainly not a Beyonce stan, but like we're talking about a billionaire, right? Like that was essentially the thing. And I think we can have a conversation around like, is Beyonce a propagandist, a capitalist, a billionaire? How is she profiting? Is it ethical? Those conversations. But that is not the conversation that proceeded to ensue, because there was a take by another creator named Devin, who got on the whole Lord's internet. And said, if the teats that you suckled on were of your oppressor, your opinion isn't valid. And that set off this whole discourse that is still happening on TikTok about white mama biracials and black mama biracials and how biracials don't have a voice and da-da-da-da-da. And I want to talk about it today. Like I said, I talked about it on Deconstruction Junction, but I'm going to go in a little bit because I want to frame it slightly different. And I want to start. So I gave you the context, okay? That's the context. There's like thousands of videos on TikTok right now. You can go to my reposts and you're going to see a lot of them that I have reposted. It's an interesting conversation because of the place that I occupy in the world, as you all know, because you were here at the beginning of the podcast. I introduced myself as the white-facing biracial, right? I'm a white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician. And that means I'm very aware of my privilege in the world, and I'm also very aware that I endure microaggressions and racism the same as a monoracial black person would, right? In certain instances, because I'm never quite white, and then on the flip side, sometimes I'm not quite black. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into it. So I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking about how, like, after seeing a lot of these takes, and I found, like, the take. So y'all make sure that you are subscribed to Good Trouble, Great Works on my Substack, because I'm going to be bringing a couple of the TikTok videos there. and discussing them at length in a blog style. Okay. So, when I wake up in the morning, when I like open my little nuggety eyes, right? Like the crust in your eyes, like rubbing your eyes, I don't think about my race. I don't think about my blackness. I don't think about my whiteness. I don't think about my biraciality. I don't think about any of it. None of it. None of it. None of it. Until I interface with either black people or white people. Okay? And that usually happens fairly quickly. I have friends of both races, and I keep up with my friends. So I talk to most of them every morning. And it's not that they're necessarily making me aware of the race conversation, but it's just ever present because it's what biracials go through every single day. And so I want to talk about that here, about what it was like to wake up to TikTok feeding me this vitriol about biracial people and hundreds of thousands of likes and comments from black people saying that essentially, like, biracial people don't deserve to have a voice, that we don't deserve to comment on black culture, even though it is our culture. And, you know, it was one of those moments where I knew that even like a couple weeks ago, or even 6 months ago, or like a couple years ago, I would have just held my tongue about it. Like, because there is a sense as a biracial person that you catch it from both sides, but you can't really claim any of it, right? You can't really claim any of that pain because it's not colorist, it's not racist, it's not even prejudice, because you are in between. And like, that is so hard to reconcile. But I will admit here in full vulnerability that I was very scared up until this conversation, which this biracial conversation, maybe not in this aspect, but it happens on TikTok every so often, and I'm fed the stuff like, are biracials even a race? Are, you know, da 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 da, white mama, black mama, da 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 da. The culture, like race science, and the culture is handed down from the mother, and if you have a white mother, then you're white. It's like, no, but I'm getting off track. No, these conversations come up, right? And I don't have a fully black, dark-skinned experience. I am obviously very light, okay? However, I do have black traits. I look a lot like my black parent. I have a wide bridge of my nose. My eyes are set further apart. You know, I like, my skin does not burn. It tans. And especially when it's not -50 outside, you know, I'm quite a different shade in the summer than I am in the winter. And the justification that is seemingly necessary to both races of how much blood quantum do you have, you know, how white are you or how black are you, is very hard to reconcile, because I'm just a Terra. I'm just a biracial human existing on this planet with a 40,000 foot view of what y'all are quibbling over on any given day. And I'm not saying that harm doesn't happen, but I'm also saying that we live a very specific trauma that often goes unacknowledged, unless you are in our close inner circles and we trust you to share about it, right? And so waking up to hundreds of thousands of comments from black people just made me realize how some of y'all must feel about sharing your thoughts on the internet and getting called out, because it wasn't just about Han. It was an attack on all biracials. And I know that, you know, black biracials with black mamas, they were like, we're exempt, but they're coming for you too. Like, they're not going to make an exception when they decide to turn on biracials, you know, on biracial people. And I just, like, in that moment was like, oh, wow. Like, it was a great reminder of what y'all are scared of. And I went to that person's page and I found some takes I liked, and I found some doubling down that I was like, girl, like, stop, like, you're light skinned too. And I think that's the thing that we have to understand, is that there is no phenotypically black or phenotypically biracial or phenotypically white, right? Because there are monoracial black people who are as light as me and lighter. There are monoracial black people that are obviously darker than me, and there are biracial people that are darker than me, and there are biracial people that, you know, like, it is easier for them to identify or for people to identify their blackness because of their darker skin. But in a lot of aspects, you know, like, there is a shared, diversity in the phenotype. And I think that's important to center in this discussion. And while I do agree that, you know, as I've learned further, that really the Black Southern culture is what Beyonce is lifting up, it's like, okay, but who gets to speak on what? And, you know, how are we supposed to have a conversation when at every turn we're either disqualified from the conversation or told to sit down and shut up, right? And when also, for some people, and this is not to say that they are not the victims of oppression, but make that their entire personality, right? And I really attempt not to do that, but no matter how many Black people I uplift on my pages, y'all know Black Friday Business Blitz, y'all know Adopt a Black Artist, I will always be othered by the Black community, and I will always be othered by the white community. And holding that, and then waking up and seeing hundreds of thousands of likes and comments about how unknowledgeable white mama biracials are. Yeah. So what am I asking? Where do I want to end this for today? Because it's late and I'm having wine. It's almost 11 o'clock. I want to end this requesting that you view people as human first. Requesting that you view people as human first. Not a content creator on a screen. Not a race. Not a gender. None of that. A human. A whole human. Or at least a human attempting to be full. Or to be whole. Right? Once again, there are ways to tap in with me. tarapriolo.com/links, tarapriolo.com/links, tarapriolo.com/links. Okay? I love y'all hardcore. Continue to be anti-racist, be safe, wear a mask, check out the rest of my stuff. Make good trouble, do good work. I will see you. Joy is our revolution. Step into it and belong to it. Because we're going to talk about belonging a lot this year. We're going to talk about belonging a lot. I will be back much sooner than I was before. And I'll see you next time on The Drip Project.